So today's knife it's one that I have purchased many times and of course gotten rid of many times as well. But I think I have finally found the version that I want to keep. Hey, I'm Jay, and if you're looking to buy a knife and you need to see what it's like first before you drop your hard-earned money on it, here's what you got to do. Click on subscribe so I can help you, and remember to click that bell notification so you don't miss a thing. So all of the specs that you are currently looking at are measurements that I took myself. So for those of you interested, this is a great spot to pause and read. This is the Spyderco Delica Wharncliffe. And as usual, we'll get into what I like about this and some of the potential deal breakers that I see here. But first, let's take care of those size comparisons, and we're going to start out with a similar sized one, the Kaiser Vanguard Dukes, and how about the Delica's big brother, the Endura 4, of course, and Cold Steel American Lawman. Let's do two more. Benchmade Bug Out, and finally the Kershaw Skyline. Starting with the blade, you are looking at 2.8 inches of VG10 steel it's flat ground with a really nice satin finish. And I gotta tell you guys, I absolutely love this 1.11 inch width of this Wharncliffe blade. I mean, the Delica 4 absolutely excels at slicing tasks, and that's going to be because of its 2.5 millimeter blade thickness. Now, this blade is riding on bronze washers, which is nice because they're always a little bit easier to maintain. Now, deployment is accomplished with this rather sharp kind of thumb hole, which also does double as a cigar cutter. Now, for a backlock knife, the action here on the Delica 4 is actually pretty good. And I am honestly surprised to say the Delica 4 is actually flickable. Like that. I mean, it does require quite a bit of wrist, but you still can flick it open. Now, if you check out the David Boy dented lock here is very easy to depress and operate. And you can see when I go ahead and press on that, the blade does sort of drop, you know, with just a little bit of pressure applied. So the action is really good. Now, once this blade is deployed, I just want to show you the lockup. Oh gosh, yeah, that is very solid, and there is no play in any direction. Let's check out the centering, which I think it's off just a little bit. Yeah, it sure is. A little bit off, but you know what? I'm really not all that concerned with this type of knife, because most of the time, you know, you're going to be deploying it just kind of slow and controlled. So it doesn't really matter as much, to me anyway, how smooth that blade glides on the pivot. Which actually reminds me of another feature that I really like about the Delica, and that's the fact that it requires very little lubrication to function. So that's just going to mean it's going to attract a heck of a lot less dirt. Now, there are two areas of jimping here. One, of course, on the thumb ramp of the blade, and where's that other one? Oh yeah, right here on the, you can see on the spine of the handle. And now, speaking of that handle, I have to say it's a very, very comfortable 4 1/4 inch long, and of course that's going to be Spyderco's FRN material. There are absolutely no sharp edges. I mean, everything is rounded nicely, exactly where it should be. Now, I wear a medium-sized glove, and I can fit all 4 of my fingers with no trouble at all. This the Spyderco's patented bidirectional texturing provides just fantastic grip and traction. The pocket clip. The pocket clip is 4-way reversible, and I'm sure by now you have noticed that this is not, in fact, the standard clip. This affair is, but we're going to talk more about that in just a minute. The Delica rides, I think, pretty nice in the pocket. I mean, it's with a handle thickness of only 0.38 inches. And now it does have a closed width. It's over that 1.5 inch threshold, but it's at 1.58. I want to go ahead and grab the scale really quick, and let's see how much this is going to weigh you down. Before I go ahead and toss this up on the scale, I'm going to try and show you the best I can that on the inside there, the Delica 4 does actually feature skeletonized steel liners. So let's see how that affects the weight. Very nice, very nice. 2.3 ounces, which is going to be roughly the equivalent of, it looks like 1, 2, 3, only 3 AA batteries, or it is very, very close in weight, almost the same as the Kershaw Skyline. Now, as with all knives, we do have to talk about some of the potential deal breakers here, but before we do, I just want to quickly remind you to go ahead and click on that subscribe button if you're looking for knife reviews that get right to the point. Deal breaker number 1, the clip. Now, I already showed you that this is not the pocket clip that comes standard with the Delica 4. It's going to be this one, and with this clip attached, it really does leave just a ton of handle sticking out. It's a bit much for me anyway. And now in regards to the aftermarket clips that you can install, you're very, very limited. And that's going to be because it has to be a certain length so it can reach kind of like this this flat like launching pad area here in the center. So for example here, if you use too short of a clip, say like this, the Benchmade Bug Out, if you use too short of a clip on the Delica, this thing, because of that bi-directional texturing, it's going to make taking this in and out of your pocket not only difficult, but it's also gonna chew the crap out of your pockets. Not to mention, with the stock clip installed, you know, it takes 3 shiny screws, and I mean, not to mention just that weird looking like cluster of screws when using this clip. I mean, to fix this, I did go ahead and I did a simple modification to a Benchmade clip. And if you click up here in the corner on the card at the end of this video to watch the video with my step-by-step instructions showing you exactly how to perform this modification yourself. And the next potential deal breaker is gonna be regarding that 1.58 inch closed width. So how much room that's gonna take up in your pocket. That might be just a little bit too wide for some of you. Now, the limitations of the Wharncliffe blade shape, I mean, since there's really, I mean, it's just a straight line. There's no belly, and which makes this type of blade not the best one to use, like when you're cutting on a flat surface, because you're only going to get just the tip of it onto whatever you're trying to cut because of that the lack of belly here. Next potential deal breaker, it is very, very minor. I mean, really minor. I feel kind of silly just mentioning this anyway, but I will. I really do wish that the body screws were black. I just think, and the pivot, I just think that that would look really, really sharp. And lastly, the price. I actually picked this up for about 68 bucks. I've seen it as much as $72, $73, and to be honest, that's a lot for VG10 blade steel and some plastic. I mean, really, that's all that the FRN really is it's fancy plastic. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Now, on top of all that, to switch out the clip, let's say if you don't have the resources to be able to modify the Benchmade clip to fit, add about 25 bucks on top of the money that you already paid for the knife, the $25 aftermarket pocket clip. So where does that leave us here with the Delica for Wharncliffe? Well, let's talk about that. But first, I actually have a question for you. So if you could comment down in the section below on if you could build the ultimate Spyderco knife by combining any blade of your choice, combining that with any handle of your choice, which two would you put together to build that ultimate Spyderco knife? Let me know down in the comment section below. I must admit, I absolutely just love the design of this Delica 4. I mean, its popularity, it really is completely understandable and warranted. I mean, this is, I truly feel that this is one of those knives that every knife person should at least try once. And now keep in mind, I'm a guy that loves like those beefy medium-sized folders, the ones with like the 4mm blade stock thickness. And for the longest time, I wouldn't even consider a knife with a sub 3-inch blade like we have here. So I hope, guys, that all of this helps. And you know what? If so, go ahead and please leave a like, and you know what? Maybe even, I don't know, subscribe.